Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan with Megi Flips, also with Onyx Designs, and I have my next piece here ready to start stripping it. This is the top half. The bottom half is in the other room right now. I don't have space in here for both of them. It's a very large piece. It's I think it's 7 or 8 feet tall maybe, but anyways, it's getting completely stripped down to the bare wood. And I'm also going to whitewash this piece just like the table you saw in the previous video. And it's going to get whitewashed and then it's going to get finished with a satin finish. So first I'm going to start sanding. What I forgot to mention before is that I did clean this piece. I cleaned it with some 𝘉𝒂 White Lightning, which is my go-to cleaner. I then took a wet rag and I rinsed it off, and then I took a dry rag and I dried it. Okay, I started to strip this piece. I started to do the doors with them still on the hinges because it's easier. It gives me the leverage to push against them and open them and do this part and everything. But now I'm going to remove the doors because with them on I can't do a lot of areas and I need to be able to get to the corners that the sander can't reach. So now it's time to remove the doors. Okay, so I wanted to point out two things. First of all, the screws on this china cabinet are very tiny. So you want a very tiny screwdriver that is going to fit perfectly. Otherwise, you're going to strip these, and when you strip them, you destroy them, and then you're going to be off to the hardware store to find more of these. And some of these old pieces of furniture, you're not going to find them again. So get yourself a kit with a bunch of different size bits and match the size, or don't remove them because you're going to find yourself in trouble. The other thing I wanted to point out, as I removed the hinges off the door, I found this scrap wood inside acting as a spacer. Now I want to make sure I don't lose this, because when I put the hinge back on the door, I'm going to have a gap between the door and the hinge if I don't have this stuff. So if you find this on the back of hinges, these little scrap pieces of wood, make sure you don't lose them because you're going to need them when you put everything back together. Another thing I did in preparing this piece to continue stripping is I outlined the mirror in tape, because when I'm sanding, I don't want the sandpaper to hit the mirror and mark it up. And I'm also going to leave it there for when I start whitewashing, because it just saves me having to clean the mirror afterwards. So mirror is protected, hardware is off. Actually, I still got to take these two off. And then I'm going to continue stripping it, and I'm going to get this whole piece stripped. I also recommend a cup for all of your hardware, or a jar with a top that screws on in case the cup falls over and you end up losing things. If you are enjoying this video so far, please hit the like button. It helps out my channel. Also, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss any future videos. I finished stripping the whole top part, and I took the two front doors off and I flipped them over and did my test on the back of the doors. So this door was a 50-50 paint and water mix, which came out very light. And then this door I did like a 60-40, and it's a little whiter, and my client likes that one better. So now I'm gonna make this one match, and then I'm gonna flip them both over, do the fronts of them, and then I'll start on whitewashing this piece. Stripping this top part took me a total of about 3 hours, for those of you who question how long it takes me to strip a piece. And then add the time for me doing this whitewashing right here that you're watching, and the cleaning beforehand. And this whole top piece took me about 5 hours total, and that includes doing the clear coat. So now it is time to do the clear coat. I am using Polyvine's Wax Finish Varnish in satin finish. I've actually already done the back side of the doors. I pour the polyvine into a red cup and I mix it because you cannot shake this bottle. And now if you come with me, I am actually painting inside of this. My phone just finished charging, so I didn't record the beginning of this. You could see the difference. Polyvine, no polyvine. I put it on this plastic plate that I keep using instead of wasting. So you put it on in a nice, somewhat thin coat. I wouldn't say really thin. To get it on here, I do that. And then I brush it in one direction with the wood grain. And I want to make sure it doesn't pool in this crack right here. I actually did a pretty good job. It's not pooling. I'm gonna move on to this half. I have the mirror taped off, as you saw in the beginning of the video, so I don't have to scrape the mirror. Also, when I was sanding, I didn't want to hit the mirror with the sander. So tonight, I'm just doing the inside of this. Tomorrow night, I'll flip the doors over, do the other side of the doors, and I'll do the outside of this. Here's the top part completely finished. The clear coat is on, the doors are on, the hardware is back on. Now to start the bottom. I'm now stripping the doors for the base of this piece. Here's the bottom half. Next to be sanded. Here are the doors. I already sanded down these two. So I have to do this one. You can see the difference. So these are completely stripped. This one still needs to be stripped. And here we go, the fun part. Now I'm starting to whitewash the drawers for the base. And now the doors, I have to do the back, let it dry, and then I can flip them and do the front. And now to do the base. When whitewashing, you always want to be sure to go in the same direction as the grain. You don't want to go against it because you'll end up with extra lines in your work. The same rule applies for when you're removing the whitewash. You don't want streak marks from your rag going in the opposite direction of the grain. Here is the completed top alongside the completed bottom. I'm sorry for the camera angle here. Sometimes I just don't get it right. Hopefully this is good enough for you to get the idea of the finished product. Please hit the like button if you've enjoyed this entire video. Also, please consider subscribing. We have a lot more than just furniture coming up. We are making a lot of new things, and I am also working on a website. Thanks for watching.